Hey everybody, it's Julianne from Cary Quilting Company in Cary, North Carolina. Today is Friday, August 7th, and I'm actually at my daughter's graduation today, but I wanted to share with you something that I learned through a little bit of trial and error that I have never done in my 30 years of quilting. And I did it last week and I'm so excited, and I couldn't find videos online, so I decided to make one. Here's what I did. This is her t-shirt quilt, very pale and pastel on the front, but she wanted her UNC Charlotte fabric on the back. So I created a double colored binding. This is one binding that changes colors from the front to the back because I couldn't put pale pink back here. I didn't want to put gold here. So you can see right here, we've got the back with the yellow and the front with the pink. So I figured out how to do it, and I didn't want to have anyone else recreate the wheel. So I thought I would share how I did it. So first you're going to choose your back and front fabrics, obviously, and then you're going to cut your back fabric at 1 inch wide and cut your front fabric at 2 inches and a hair wide. So not 2 1/16, not 2 1/8, just 2 and a tiny bit wide. Then you're going to seam together all of these strips and seam together all of these strips because you don't want this big seam to be globby. You want to offset the seams. So there's my pink seam, and then my yellow seam is going to be down here because you don't want any more thickness than you need inside your binding. With bindings, I always press the seams to one side because if you press them open, the only thing holding that binding together is the threads. If I was to press this open and then give it a little tug, ugh, the only thing there are threads. And so you want your bindings to be as strong as possible, so press them to one side. So now you've got a long strip of your front fabric, that's 2 and a hair, a long strip of your back fabric, that's 1 inch, and you're going to sew them together long ways. And then I press that to the backing side. So press this, your long piece, press it back towards the backing. That's going to help it fold better when you get it onto your quilt. So now this has made a 2.5 inch binding. And this is designed for using your machine on both sides. So if you want to use your machine and then hand stitching, I'll tell you how to change it at the end. So once you get your binding made, you're going to start by applying it to the back of your quilt. And here's how we're going to do that. I've already gotten it started over here, but if I was starting a new set, I would apply it right like that so that the fabric that I intend to see on the back, which is yellow, is currently hiding. It's back here. So you're going to apply it just like this so that you don't see the backing color or your back binding color, and then give it a nice 1/4 inch seam all the way around. And you'll do your corners just as always. I'll just kind of give you a quick corner demonstration. I'll also link to one of my other binding videos. So when I get down to the corner within a 1/4 inch, I sew off the edge diagonal, and then I fold it up and back and then start again off the edge. And when you do it this way, when you flip it, you're still going to get the right color on the back and the right color on the front. So pretend like you've sewn this all the way down, all the way around. Now it's time to flip it. So we'll take this piece here. This was just a charity donation quilt that I was playing with yesterday. When you flip it to the front, you're going to see the pink, and you'll sew that with your top stitching. This one doesn't, but your top stitching will match your front binding, and then your back stitching will match your quilt back, because the goal here is to put that right there in the ditch so you don't see it. So in this finished one over here, my back stitching is green right here. You can barely see it on the back of the quilt. All you can see is the yellow binding, and then my front stitching matches my front binding. And I usually pull that a little more. So your back, when you're putting it on the back side, you're going to use a 1/4 inch. When you put it on the front side, you're going to go more like 3/8 of an inch in. So this stitching line has a place to go. Because if you do the other side at a 1/4 as well, you're going to have some empty binding up here, and that stitch line isn't going to fall in the ditch quite so pretty. But you see, when you round the corners, it just automatically works. It automatically makes it. And as you're sewing that second side down, you can use the fold from the seam there as your guide. So let's just pretend like that's sewn down. You can fold it until you just barely see the yellow right there. And then as soon as you're done quilting, this will fill itself up and you won't see the yellow anymore. So that is my trick on using a double-sided binding. And if you are doing this where you want to stitch it to the front and hand stitch it to the back, you just flip the colors so that your front is 1 inch wide and your back is 2 and a hair wide, and you'll get the same results, just flipped. So that's what I have to share with you today. Hope you have a great weekend. Hope you try something new with your quilting. Like I said, I've been quilting for 30 years and I've never even tried this. So super easy, super fun, and gives you kind of a double-sided look. Great for wall hangings, table runners, placemats. You could do a Halloween on one side and a Christmas on the other side and have completely different bindings. So play with it on your own, maybe on a charity quilt, and then decide if you like the double-sided binding. We'll see you back here from the shop on Monday. Bye.